this right before this up, so you can see this is their little emoji bullshit. This is the shit that they do. They're just they just live to harass because they have nothing better to do in their lives. Bait, go check out the 8 minutes that I did before this to see what I was talking about, you know? And they do that shit just to irritate, to be a distraction. The little emojis, I forgot to get rid of them. I got rid of them. They're blasting the shit out of me with their directed energy weapons that they said they were going to use on American citizens in 2006. And, hey, what's up? Hopefully, the other people that were in here, other than the incels that, you know, Daniel Dowd and his group who think, oh, we're winning. That's what he said in the last live. Not the one that I just did, the 8 minutes today, but the one before at the very end. You know, we're winning. Well, again, who's we and what are you winning? You know? They play games. That's what they do. But again, I journeyed this morning and asked what I could do. And I was told that everything is in place. Heaven is getting ready to respond. And what I'm supposed to do now is to remind everyone redemption is still on the table. Turn away from the false prophet. They have you so focused on chaos and fear and hate. That's how you can tell that you're being controlled and you're following the false prophet, is that they have you focused on all that shit. And it's not real. It's bad stuff. You're being led right into the abyss. You know? They have you they're now telling you that Putin is the good guy. But they're raping children in Ukraine and then murdering them in front of the parents. If you're okay with that, you think that's a good thing, you feel they deserve that, I just want to warn you, be careful. The judgments that you hand down, that you give others, will be the very judgments that are returned to you. If you're okay with them raping and murdering kids in front of their parents, heaven's going to show you what it's like. That's how it works. Just because you've decided to turn away doesn't change the rules at all. And there's not one of us who is above God. There's not one of us who is going to beat heaven. And the rules now are the same as they've always been. And so now I'm supposed to actually, if there is someone, if you have a brother or sister that you've hurt who holds things against you, go ask forgiveness. Try to make amends. But feeling, right now, they have you focused on so many stupid things. The Epstein files, they ain't gonna come out. They just, like I said just 8 minutes ago, they just fired the prosecuting attorney who put Maxwell in jail. Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator. They've brought the Tates in, and now MAGA is upset because they're being investigated for bragging about their fucking crimes. Trafficking kids and women. And they're upset because now they're being investigated. They feel that that justice is for the ones that they hate. But they'll fight for the evildoers. If they like you, they will fight for you despite the evil that you do. And they, because they think that they're not going to be held accountable. They think that they're winning. They're not winning. When things go bad, these idiots, the reason why Republicans won't do town hall meetings anymore is because they know the tide is turning, and the very people that they have gotten to be rabid for the last 8 to 10 years has just fed their hate and their anger. When it turns on them, these people are going to go drag them out. What happened on January 6th is the least of what's going to happen. They're going to drag these motherfuckers out of their homes, and they're going to end up having fates as bad, if not worse, than Mussolini. Their shit isn't going to work. But realize you will be held accountable for that shit. You know? You'll be held accountable for it. Fill your hearts with love. Stop wishing evil on other people. I don't understand the argument against that. You know? Start being honest with who's actually doing evil and who's not. And act accordingly. And for the most part, when you look in the mirror, make sure it's not you. You know? Because we will be held accountable. They can say whatever the fuck they want about me. Bearing false witness still counts. You know? You'll still be held accountable for it. And that's what their shit is bearing false witness. The stupid shit that they say. And what is it? They want to distract from the crimes I have called them out on. You know? To be honest, I'm concerned about Nathan Stoltman now. I guess his cat died. He loved his cat. And from what I understand, he's no longer with his wife. But Doug Mesner, a.k.a. Lucian Greaves, tried to tell me that Skills, a.k.a. Emily Thorne, was Nathan's wife. Not even close. The stupidest thing I'd ever heard. They're just saying whatever stupid shit they can to actually distract from the truth. Skills, obviously a fake name. They're not named Skills any more than they're named Emily Thorne. Is Lucian Greaves' co-conspirator, you know? And so they are meth heads. A lot of drugs. A lot of drugs. But then that's what they employ. How it works in my town is the sheriff and a bunch of rich people are all involved with this meth operation. They get them on meth, then they prosecute them, and then they can control them. You'll do what we want you to do, or we're going to put you away forever. That's how it works. That's how it works in my town, you know? And so the problem is terrible. Even in Australia, they're just doing the same thing. They hook these people on drugs. Someone left a message about what's happening in Gaza and Palestine is as bad as what's happening in the Ukraine. Benjamin Netanyahu is a dictator. All he cares about is his control. And the fact that they're parading around promoting genocide so that they can take over Gaza and make it their little vacation land, and they make commercials about it, is disgusting. They're parading their evil around for everyone to see. You know? They're off to, you know? And they're stupid shit. They just say stupid shit. You know, they only care about themselves. They care about themselves. What they're enacting is Agenda 21. Elon Musk is destroying the government from within because it's going to be in such chaos that when Russia and China act, and Putin is getting ready to act, no one's going to know what to do. What the weekend Fox host dude is going to be able to figure it the fuck out? Exactly. What did they do? And that's what they're doing with everyone, genocide. What's happening to the Native Americans in America? Genocide. What's happening to the Native Americans in Canada and Alaska? Genocide. They are promoting evil. And those who go along with it will be held accountable just as harsh as the ones who are perpetrating it. Perpetrating it. Sorry, I'm exhausted. Their weapons create brain fog. That's what it does. You know, and they think that bringing me down is going to change things. They think that shutting me up is going to save them, and they don't realize it's not going to save them. It's not. And heaven is about ready to respond. We all will do what we have been commanded to do, or there will be consequences. And you can tell yourselves that that's not going to be the case, that that's not going to happen all you want. But it doesn't change anything. I don't know why you call it Palestina, so I just don't. I'm not going to deal with it. What's happening in the Gaza is genocide. That's what's happening. What's happening in the Ukraine is genocide. The fact that Trump is willing to just give Ukraine over, if you look back at World War II, appeasement of a dictator doesn't go well. They tried to appease Hitler, and look at how Hitler responded. It's the same shit, you know? Thank you. And I'm not the only one working for this. You know, there's an army of us. There's a whole army of us from heaven. Redemption is still on the table, but the minute that after you take your last breath, redemption is no longer on the table. No longer. You don't have redemption. You don't have the thing of redemption. The minute you take your last breath, it'll be about accountability. How heaven weighs your soul. And if you get found wanting or your heart full of hate, there will be retribution. Heaven is not beyond wrath. Never has been. We were given this opportunity after Jesus Christ to actually fill our hearts with love. And it isn't even about Jesus Christ. It's about the Word. If you know nothing, you know, how do you know that what I'm saying isn't true? David Shurter, you know, you'll argue for hate. You'll argue for all of that derision like it doesn't make any difference. And you never give, the whole thing about it is that you just tear apart other people's arguments. You can't justify or actually have the thought process to excuse it, you know? There are. And they all focus. If you read all of it, it focuses on mankind, you know? But you're right. You go ahead and argue that hate is okay. You go ahead and argue that might is right. All your fucking Nazi shit. Argue it all you want. Justify it any way you need to. Justify it any way you need. but it ain't gonna fucking do you any good, you know? And what ends up happening, just like David Schrader does, is that they don't actually deal with what you say. They divert it. That's their whole CIA tactic. Never admit anything. And if someone holds you accountable and points out your shit, then you just direct it to another argument. That's how you know you're dealing with these idiots, because they never take responsibility for anything that they do. Every time you bring up something, they'll redirect it, and it's always back at you. That's how it works. Never admit anything, you know? Always redirect it. Always try to put your enemy on defensive, and I'm not on defensive, you know? And they'll argue their hatred and they'll argue their fucking nasty shit every single way they can without taking any accountability whatsoever. That's the reason why they fucking wear white hoods and they are online with fake ass names and fake ass personalities and fake ass everything. They hide in the fucking shadows. And that's how you know that they're not real. You know? They never take responsibility and they never have. And never will. In the end, when it's thrust upon them, they'll cry like little bitches. That's what they do. They cry like little bitches. Oh my God. You know, if all you have to argue about is my hair, then your argument is, you know, if you don't like long hair, then don't have long hair, you know? That's the only argument that you have, but all of their shit is petty. That's the reason why, because if I wouldn't have turned off the little emojis, I would have had emojis just flowing. Flowing and flowing and flowing. That's what they do. They sit in the shadows and poke people with sticks. That's what they do with their directed energy weapon bullshit. You know? That's the reason why they are working with my sheriff. But shit is already going down. I don't think the insurance companies like the fact that they paid out on shit that they were not responsible for. And it was pretty easy with the Erling, Iowa gas station explosion to actually point out that the official report doesn't match the news that went on that night. And my sheriff can say whatever the fuck he wants, but he was on KETV right along with the owner who said he got in and out of the gas station. He got out, went back in, got his brother-in-law, got out. What, did he crawl through the fucking rubble? And then I was also on that KETV report that night. So obviously I know a little something about it since I was there and was interviewed, you know? And the insurance companies paid out on a report that wasn't the truth. Because one explosion that levels the place is way different than two explosions that happen 9.5 minutes apart. The first explosion was a bomb. It was a terrorist attack, domestic terrorism. That's how it works. And it was easy to show. It was easy to show. That's the reason why I started with the insurance companies. They have the most money and a lot of power. And they don't like to pay for shit that they're not responsible for. It's called fraud. Now they want to, I mean, and Doug Mesner telling me that Nathan Stoltman's wife was Skills, aka Emily Thorne. Fucking stupid shit. They just say they're stupid shit. And it wouldn't even have to be an argument if my sheriff would have used that Shadow Dragon program. That Shadow Dragon program is designed so that they can see the email addresses and where they come from, no matter how they try to hide them. This could have been resolved a long time ago. But they have my sheriff in their back pocket. He does what they want. Of course, they brag. They just threatened to kill my dogs and send it to me and my sheriff. You know, that's how it works. They know they have my sheriff in their back pocket, who thinks he's above God. They all think that they're above God. But all of their shit. The explosion was a little bit more than 4 years ago. Well, no, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. If you type in Erling, Iowa gas station explosion, it'll come up. Especially go KETV, Erling, Iowa gas. And Erling is EARLING, you know? So it's there, you know? They murdered Owen, my friend Owen, a year ago last February. Bragged about it. Now Daniel Dowd wants to say that he isn't booty twang. Dude, you had a whole video. You were using that thing when you first came at me, you were using that pooty twang. I know goddamn well it's you, you know? But you think that if you say that it's not, then everyone's going to be like, "Oh, okay. I guess it's not." You know, maybe some people will. A lot of people are still thinking that the Jeffrey Epstein shit is going to come out. You want to know why it's not going to come out? Because Donald Trump was involved with Jeffrey Epstein. All the child trafficking. Jeffrey Epstein was going and actually getting girls from Mar-a-Lago. The Trump administration just pressured Romania to bring the Tate brothers back to Florida. And now they're bitching because Florida wants to investigate the Tate brothers for bragging about child trafficking and all of that. You know, you'll follow the false prophet, and no one can tell you otherwise. No one can tell you otherwise. You're going to do what you want to do. And the false prophet leads a ton of people right into the fucking abyss, you know? And they won't know it because they're deluded. That's what's written, you know? That's what's written. And we're seeing it. Lawlessness. Elon Musk is destroying the federal government from the inside. So when Putin wants to respond, who's going to be there? Who's going to be knowledgeable enough now that they've dismantled everything to do anything? And they think that they've won. These child traffickers really do think that they've won. That's the reason why they brag about it. And they think that taking me down with their weapons, which they admitted that they had, you know, you might want to post that interview, my sit-down interview about Omaha. I've done so many. And now they're sending me people who are going on about how they sent their friend to Mar-a-Lago and Barron Trump went to Donald and but in the same conversation telling me how their friend was killed by a werewolf, you know? Oh my God. It was just a bizarre conversation. And I got off of it. The only reason why I called them back after they called me was because I just wanted to know what they had to say. And so I listened to what, and it was just, they're gonna go, their arguments are kind of ridiculously stupid. And around here, where I live, these people will bear false witness all the time. They'll talk shit all the time and think that it doesn't make any difference. They'll tell themselves how they are supreme Christians, how God loves them. David's story. It wasn't an interview. That was my documentary. That was done by a dude in California who he did the documentary. So anybody who actually wants to know what he's talking about, just go to the very beginning of this channel and you can see my documentary. It's called David's Story. You can see all the stuff that I started off with. My walking tour through pedophile Omaha, where I went through the old market and pointed out everything that was going on in the old market, where I went to Hummel Park and pointed out everything that was going on. Now, realize that I was very angry when I did that because I was fighting with people from FranklinFiles.net, Noreen Gosh, Paul Bonacci, all of the gatekeepers for Franklin. And so they weren't the most pleasant of my videos. I hate it when I do videos when I'm angry. You know, I hate it. If I can't listen to it, I realize that other people probably can't either. Because when I'm angry, there's an intensity to my voice that makes people uncomfortable. I know that. I'm well aware of that. And, but back to what I was told. Redemption. Follow what we need. Fill your hearts with love. Fill your hearts with love. If there are things that you have done that have hurt other people, go make amends. You making amends with those people and actually reaching out and asking for forgiveness might end up getting them to think about the same thing, and maybe they'll do the same thing. See how it works? It's like a cascading effect. Lead by example. Other people might follow your example. That's how it works. That's how we are supposed to work, you know? And so you do what you can. Do not go out and forgive everyone else, especially if they haven't asked for your forgiveness. Don't go announce to them that you forgive them. It only inspires anger. People want to smack people who go out and say, oh, I forgive you, when you haven't asked forgiveness. You know, that doesn't mean don't forgive them in your heart. But you don't need to announce it unless they ask, you know? But we've all made mistakes. We've all hurt other people. There's not one of us who's able to walk on water. Make amends for the shit that you've done. Stop looking at what everyone else is doing and start cleaning up your own front step. Because when it comes to judgment, it won't make any difference what your brother or sister did, or Susie across the road, or Johnny across town, or whoever. It's not going to make any difference. You're going to be held. We are held accountable by our own shit. And that's how it's going to work. That's how it's always worked. And we're at the end. Some serious shit is coming down the pipeline, and it's going to get very hard. So start working on this shit while things are actually still relatively working, because eventually it's all going to go bad, you know? And if you are following people who are encouraging you to hate, encouraging you to feel derision, they're false prophets. They're false prophets. That's not saying that you can't hold people accountable for their own evil. But what you do is you shy away from it. When they come in here and they start spouting their shit, I just block them. You take out the trash. You don't play with it. You certainly don't engage with it. You know? Just distance yourself and bless them, because their lives are not going to go well. They're not going well now. You think that those idiots that have already come in here today, you know, spouting their hate and encouraging their hate, do you think they lead good lives? Do you think they're happy? Do you think they have a lot of love in their lives? chances are the answer is no. You know, miserable company or miserable people like miserable company. They want to share their misery with you so you're just as miserable as they are. And that's, you have a choice. You know, you have a choice. Redemption is still on the table. Stop, look at what happened. People voted Trump in because he hated the same people they hated. And now that hate has come to be at their doorstep. They've lost their jobs. I was watching this thing where people are saying, "Don't you feel sorry for Nebraska?" So many people are saying no because they voted for hate. You know, they voted for this shit. And now that the chickens have come home to roost, now they want to whine like little bitches because they wanted that hate and all of that nasty shit to go to everyone they hated. They didn't want it to come to them. And yet, the judgments that you put down on other people always come home to roost. Energy always returns. So, wouldn't you rather put out love, compassion, empathy, so that when it returned to you, you got love and compassion and empathy? Their hatred doesn't change the laws of physics. It certainly doesn't change the law of quantum physics. And so it's easy to go. It's easy to see how it plays out, you know? And the shit that they're doing to people is wrong. What's happening in Gaza is wrong. What's happening in Ukraine is definitely wrong. And if you are fighting for a war criminal, unfortunately, you deserve what you get. Heaven is just. We will all deserve what we get. We've all been told. If you don't want to listen to it, that's on you. You know? That's on you. Don't blame anybody else. And if you're miserable, stop trying to give your misery to everyone else and just deal with what is making you miserable. Chances are your cold ass, tiny little heart of stone is what's causing it. You know? I'm glad. I'm glad that I've helped. You know, I've been at this for so long. And it's hard for me because I just keep saying the same stuff over and over and over again. I've talked about redemption before, but when I journeyed this morning, I was told there was no more doors I need to open. Heaven has it all under control. Heaven has this. And what I'm supposed to do is to remind people that redemption is still on the table. That time is quickly running out. It's quickly running out, and it's going to be replaced with heaven's wrath. Save yourselves, save your own souls, and fill your hearts with love. Child trafficking is wrong. Hurting children is wrong. Supporting or protecting people who are hurting children makes you just as accountable as them. Treat people well, you know, with empathy and compassion and love. I don't understand the arguments against it. You know, I don't understand the arguments against it. And the people who argue against it are the very people you should shy away from. Because usually, I would say that is kind of an always thing, even though I hate to use always and never. But people who focus on that are usually solely for themselves. If it comes between choosing you or themselves, you can consider yourself thrown under the bus every time. That's how it works. And it just works that way. You know, they're not going to choose you over themselves when their whole life is about them. I'm going to pray. And I'm probably going to get off here soon. I have my own stresses. And notice how many people I lost when I said I was going to pray. That's how you can tell. That's how you can tell. They don't like prayer. They don't like focusing on God. If I was talking about all their nasty shit, they'll stay here. If they could harass me with the emojis, they would stay here. You know, the group that took out Isaac, that is now, I'm afraid they're terrorizing Nathan Stoltman again. Nathan Stoltman's wife is not Skills, aka Emily Thorne, aka Lucian Greaves' butt buddy in crime. Doug can say whatever the fuck he wants, but they're all criminal Nazis trafficking kids, and it's wrong. It's wrong. It is their only sustainable way of feeling anything because they feel nothing. So if they can cause fucking pain to other people, that makes them feel powerful. You know? So heaven is going to give them pain. You know? And see how fucking powerful they feel. They can inflict it on everyone else. So now it's going to be inflicted on them. Because that's what I have prayed. It is said that the rain falls on the just and the unjust alike. But for far too long, it is only fallen upon the just. And the unjust never pay a day's price. And those days need to end. Flat out. Flat out. Who knows why they brought the Tate brothers back, but I can bet you that it's not for good reasons. The fact that they just fired Maxwell's prosecutor, not for good reasons. I will not be surprised when Ghislaine or however the fuck Jizzy Maxwell gets a pardon. You know? They'll say, well, it wasn't that big a deal. I won't be surprised when that comes down the pike, you know? That's why they want the Tates, because it's all about the youth. But they're losing the youth. That's the reason why they brought back the Tates, you know? That's why, and now they're bitching because they're being investigated for bragging about being child traffickers. They bragged about it, you know? The fact that these assholes can actually brag about their crimes, like the people that are on top of me, can brag about their shit. They are losing it. They are. And the more they lose, the more desperate they're becoming. They will start to act in worse and worse ways. That's how it's going to work. That's how it always works, you know? But with that said, I'm going to pray. Heaven, we come to you as your children. We are in the last days. We are being ruled by lawlessness and hate. And people are being led into the abyss. They're fueling chaos and fear and anger. And it is leading people quite effectively away from the word. They're talking shit about each other. They're trying to steal each other's. They're trying to covet each other's shit. They'll do whatever they can because they are so filled with want. They're deserving, no one else is. And it's fueling so much pain and so much anguish. And they feel that they're not going to be held accountable for it. But I know that's not the case. Each of us have the power of redemption. This morning when I came to you, you told me to remind people of redemption. Fill your hearts with love and empathy and compassion. Make amends with those that you have hurt. Ask for their forgiveness. We are to humble ourselves. We are servants to the word, to you. We are here to glorify your name and to glorify the word. And the best way to do that is to emulate the life of our brother, your son, Jesus Christ, who came down and taught us how to live the word. We're some of us are eternally grateful. Some of us will never get it. And unfortunately, those people will be held accountable. But there is an army of us down here who know and are grateful. And we ask for the grace, your grace, to envelop us. And although our paths are not easy, let us know that you're with us and that what we're doing is worth it. And in the end, let us try to save as many as we can. And we say these things gratefully and lovingly in your Son, our brother's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. So that's my prayer. I'm exhausted. Their shit is exhausting me. I can sleep, but I wake up tired. You know, I wake up tired. And I'm tired of this fight. I'll keep fighting as long as heaven has me here. But this morning, I was told to just remind people that redemption is still on the table. You can still be redeemed. You can still save your souls just by simply doing what we were told. Stop following false prophets who fill your hearts with nothing but want. You want what you don't have. Everyone else has more than you. Let's go take it away from them. You know, we all need a nudge sometimes. I don't know how to pronounce your name, dude, but I appreciate you being in here today. You've actually helped me a lot. Because sometimes I feel like I'm not reaching anybody. You know? Sometimes I just feel like Riley. Okay. Riley, thank you. You know? We're here to actually help as many people as we can find redemption. But they have to seek it to find it. That whole you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Keep that in mind. You can't force him to do anything. Hey, Susan, you can't force him to do anything. For those of you who want to buy a book, I do have books for sale. I know everyone is hurting for cash, so I've tried not to ask for donations, even though I'm pretty desperate right now. I've been losing sleep over my finances. But I also realize that I'm not the only one. And I don't want to cause pain and suffering to anybody else. And so I just have to trust in God. You know, if there's any millionaires out there who appreciate what I'm doing and all of that, my PayPal and my Venmo is just my first initial D and my last name Shurter. My book, but most people who have actually reached, who have watched me, have already read this book, you know. But I understand that people are hurting really bad, and so I don't want to contribute to that. And God provides. Sometimes it's just the very last minute, and I know that the fear and the chaos and the stress. The best way to buy the book is through me. But Riley, if you're in another country, I would just suggest to go get it off of Amazon because it'll be way cheaper because shipping rates are outrageously expensive. You know, outrageously expensive. To send a book to Australia, I'm asking $30 for the book and it's 40 to ship it. You know? Oh, it's $40 to ship it. My my publisher hates this, but I do have the extended version for free on my blog, davidshurter.com. Just my name, davidshurter.com. It's in above, the extended book of Rabbit Hole, you know, and that has all the spiritual stuff in it, you know. For the longest, for years and years and years and years, I never asked for anything. I never wanted money, but now I'm hurting so bad. Poverty sucks, but I'm not the only one facing it. You know, I'm not the only one facing it. And so, but if you're interested in reading what I wrote, you know, dude, that's just it. Come on here and threaten me in front of everybody, you know? You're a fucking dumbass. You're a fucking dumbass. You know? This is the kind of pieces of shit that I'm telling you don't engage with. You know? They're full of fucking hate. And they actually dance around because they like their child trafficking bullshit. You know? They'll dance around. Dude, you are not going to jail because of me. I didn't force you to do anything. You're going to jail because of your own stupid shit. But like every other criminal, everyone is at fault except you. You're not responsible for the shit you do. It's everyone else's fault. You know? I haven't done shit to you. The fact that you actually think that these games are going to work, if you don't commit crimes, it's as simple as that. You know, blaming someone who actually points out your own shit because you're committing crimes and just bragging about it. So what was I supposed to do? Just take it? You know? I'm not the one going to fucking jail, dumbass. So obviously you've done something. You know? Obviously you've done something. If you're going to jail, that's on you. You know? Enjoy prison. Exactly. You know? I got to get off of here because I'm not fighting with these idiots. Yeah, well, great. I'm glad you have a connection to Thomas. You know, every fucking criminal seems to. They're all involved with this. You know, thank you guys. This was actually really nice. You know, this shit, this Robert Carlson dumbass, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You can't save these people. It's best to just take the trash out to the curb and not engage with them. That's how it works. And that's exactly what I'm showing. It's supposed to be a beautiful day out here today. I'm going to actually deal with the beautiful day. You know, I will say that starving actually is doing wonders for my weight. And so, but thank you so much, everyone. And they are shills. They're shills. You know, they're just dumbasses who play all kinds of fucking weird ass games. You know, and they're just dumbasses. I'm just, when I send this to the fucking cops, which I'm going to, I'll end up showing all of the screenshots, you know? He does shit like this and then says that it's my fault that he's going to jail, you know? I just deluded, you know? Deluded. Um, what's today? Tuesday? Today's Wednesday. I've completely lost the days. I'll probably be doing another live on Friday. Um, oh, wait a minute. It is Tuesday. Sorry. Again, their shit causes brain fog. And I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I still get shit done, but I am just so tired. Because when I sleep, I don't get any rest. And I wake up. If I wake up to go pee, it takes me forever. I have to dissociate to actually be able to fall back asleep. Yes, I know it's because of the directed energy weapons, dumbass. You know, I know all about it. Oh, yeah, they've been outside and they're all up here now. And now they can hear me talking about them. So now, yeah, I'm going to be harassed here in just a second. Because my cops ain't going to do shit, dumbass. You know that as well as I do. But obviously, not all cops are the same. If you're going to fucking jail and on the run, you know? Fill your hearts with love. Seek redemption. You know? Aspire to inspire. Make someone's life better for you being in it. Don't be like an idiot like Robert Carlson. You know? It's this kind of person that's going to end up in the fucking dark. They're already in the dark. And they blame everybody else but themselves. So, thanks, guys.